They'll tell you we abandoned the moon because of money, budget cuts, lost interest. That's what they want you to believe. But I'm about to tell you what really happened up there and why. After you hear this, you'll understand why we never went back. Last night changed everything. I was in my cabin in the Blue Ridge Mountains, bourbon in hand, staring at the fireplace when my old radio, covered in dust, knobs rusted, wires tangled, suddenly crackled to life. This is Apollo 18. Repeat. This is Apollo 18. My glass almost shattered on the floor. Apollo 18. The mission that never existed. The mission that's been erased from every official record. And it was calling me, right now, across 50 years of silence. A lunge for the radio, hands shaking so badly I could barely turn the dial. Please don't be crazy. Please don't be my mind finally breaking after all these years. Harris, do you copy? This is Miller. We need Frank Miller, my best friend, my brother, the man they told me died in a training accident in Nevada. But I was there. I watched them send him up. I was there when they killed the mission and told us to forget everything. For 50 years, I've carried his ghost. And now his voice was reaching through the void, distorted, desperate, impossible. I tried to respond, but got only static. Then, underneath the interference, I heard something else. A mechanical hum, or maybe a heartbeat. Apollo 18 was canceled in 1970. Officially, but there was one more mission, one they buried. I was a communications engineer, cleared for special projects. They told us it was routine reconnaissance. Just another flag on the moon to justify the budget. But Frank called me the night before launch. His voice was different. Scared. They aren't telling us everything, John. There's something out there. Something they don't want us to see. If I don't make it back, promise me you'll find out why. 24 hours later, they said he died. Fuel leak. Tragique accident. They shut down the base, scattered us to different projects, and acted like it never happened. I tried to investigate. Every door slammed in my face. People were either terrified or paid off. Eventually, I gave up, moved to these mountains, tried to drink away the nightmares. Until tonight, until Frank's voice dragged me back. I felt eyes on me. I spun around, expecting men in black suits, but saw nothing. Just wind outside and the radio's relentless static. I leaned closer. Frank? Where are you? What came back wasn't Frank's voice. It was a low, distorted growl. Metal scraping metal. Then laughter, deep, guttural, inhuman. I'd heard that sound once before, years ago, on a different frequency when I still worked for NASA. This is Apollo 18. God help us. They're here. Silence. Heavy silence that pressed down on my chest like a physical weight. I knew what I needed. My hidden files. The documents I copied when I knew they were going to bury everything. I tore up the floorboards with my bare hands, pulled out the metal box, flipped through yellowed papers until I found it. A photograph. Black and white. Grainy. Frank in his suit on the moon. But beside him, something else. A figure. Not human. Decayed. Skeletal. Yet disturbingly familiar in shape. And in the background, beyond the lunar module, a shadow that shouldn't exist. In that moment, I understood everything. Frank's death wasn't an accident. And I knew why we never went back. Because something is still up there, waiting. The Nevada desert. Heat that didn't quit even at night. They built a facility deep underground, far from anyone who might ask questions. We called it the bunker. An underground maze of control rooms, labs, communication centers. All for one purpose, Apollo 18. The mission that didn't exist. I was there because they needed someone they could trust. Someone who wouldn't ask questions. But I started asking the moment I walked in. Dr. Evelyn Green was the first red flag. Tall, sharp-eyed, always gripping a notebook like her life depended on it. Brilliant, they said, but she'd been briefed separately, kept away from the rest of us. She knew something. Then there was Colonel Richard Hayes, mission commander, a man who could stare through your skull without blinking. Everyone respected him. Nobody knew him. He had the look of someone carrying too many secrets. And Frank, my old friend, always grinning, even when things got dangerous. He'd been to the moon before, knew the risks. Another day, another dollar, he'd joke. But I could see it in his eyes. He knew this mission was wrong. The briefing was simple. Too simple. Strange signals detected near the moon's dark side. Retrieve samples. But the files were redacted. The briefings were short. Every question met with the same response from Hayes. Need to know. Harris. Green and Hayes whispered in corners, constantly looking over their shoulders like they expected something to be listening. They're spooked, Frank told me. But we're used to that, right? The launch went perfectly. Too perfectly. They disappeared into the black. Communication stayed clear until lunar orbit. Then things started breaking. First, small things. Signal fluctuations. Minor malfunctions. Then the sound started. Whispers. Faint. Garbled. Like some language that shouldn't exist. Harris, you hearing this? Frank's voice cut through my headset. I adjusted the dials. The whispers got louder. More insistent. Like a broken record stuck on an alien chant. Solar interference, Hayes said. But I heard the doubt. Green's face went white. Her knuckles were bloodless on that notebook. I caught a glimpse of her notes. A drawing. Crude. Unmistakable. A figure. Not human. Next day, Frank's voice came back. Urgent. Harris, we're seeing something. Movement. In the shadows on the surface. Can you confirm? I scanned the satellite feeds, heart hammering. There it was. A shadow. Faint. Moving. Darting across the lunar surface where nothing should move. Cold sweat broke across my face. Nothing here, I lied. John, we see it. It's there. Hayes cut in. Stay focused, Miller. Proceed to coordinates. But equipment kept failing. Oxygen meters flickering. Navigation freezing. Frank's voice got tighter. Harris, I swear to God there's something out here. It's watching us. Hayes killed the transmission. Green was scribbling frantically, eyes wide, muttering under her breath. I leaned close. What aren't you telling us? She looked up, pure terror in her eyes. We're not alone. Hayes slammed the table. Enough, Green. We retrieve. We don't theorize. Frank's voice cut through. Lower now. Almost a whisper. Harris, there's a structure here. Not natural. And there's something inside. I think it's waiting for us. The comms died. Total silence. I tried every channel. Every frequency. Nothing but static. I thought I'd lost him. Then Frank's voice exploded back. Panicked. It's alive. It's moving. Get us out of here. Green started crying. Quiet sobs that filled the room. Hayes was shouting, face twisted with fear I'd never seen before. Harris. John. Frank's voice was breaking. They lied to us. They knew. They knew something was here. I looked at Green. Her face was death white. Her notebook showed symbols. Strange symbols that seemed to move on the page like they were alive. Hayes was on the radio, trying to restore control, but shadows were moving on the screens. Darker than lunar night, moving in impossible patterns. Then just before everything cut off, I heard it. That laughter again. Deep, mechanical, inhuman. Harris, God help us. It's too late. Silence. The kind that buries secrets deeper than any crater. Frank's voice came through ragged, terrified. It's massive, John. Bigger than anything we expected. Half buried like it's been here for centuries. Maybe longer. His breathing was wrong. Labored. Like something was crushing his chest. It's not stone. It looks organic. It's breathing. The cameras sent back images that made my blood freeze. A structure jutting from the moon. But not like any building. It looked grown, cultivated. Like bone and metal fused together. Edges too smooth. Curves that hurt to look at. Geometry that shouldn't exist. Like it was designed to stay hidden, to reject human eyes. Its surface gleamed with a dark iridescence, drinking in light and reflecting something else back. Something that made the screens flicker. The structure was shaped like a massive spiral descending into the moon's surface. Ribbed walls that pulsed with faint bioluminescence. And at the center, a chamber. Fushed, cathedral-like, ancient, but alive, waiting. Hayes barked orders. Focus, Miller. Green, confirm readings. Green's hand shook. It matches signatures from 1969. She paused. This structure is emitting the same signals. You're saying we're not the first to find this? Frank asked. Green didn't answer. She just stared at the structure with recognition and fear. Miller approached the entrance. Hayes commanded. Green, take samples. Secure whatever's inside. Frank moved forward slowly. I don't like this, John. I really don't like this. But he kept going, toward that dark mouth, that hole that swallowed light. Inside was nearly pitch black. Dust hung in the air like frozen stars. But as their lights swept across the chamber, the walls responded. Glowing veins of something phosphorescent spread across the surface, like the structure was waking up. And there, in the center, they found them. Not one body, dozens, crumpled in a circle, half buried, limbs twisted wrong. At first they looked almost human, wearing what appeared to be suits, but not from any nation on Earth. The material was wrong, too smooth, organic. As Frank got closer, the details emerged. The suits were part of them, fused to their bodies like a second skin. Their faces were elongated, eyes sunken deep into hollow sockets. 3 fingers on each hand, mouths frozen open as if they'd been screaming when they died. But that wasn't the worst part. In the center of the circle sat an object, a sphere, about the size of a basketball. Black, perfectly smooth, and it was humming, a low vibration that Frank said he could feel in his bones, in his teeth, in his skull. Green's voice cracked. My God, it's a beacon. What? Frank demanded. They were protecting it, she whispered. These beings, they died protecting this. And we just activated it. Green gasped. My God, it's a warning. Frank turned. What is this, Green? You recognize it, don't you? We've seen traces in Apollo 11 samples. Fragments. DNA that wasn't human. Wasn't even terrestrial. Her voice was barely there. They knew. NASA knew. They sent us here because the signal from this beacon started getting stronger in 1969. They needed to know what was calling. Calling. Frank's voice went cold. Calling what? Green stared at the sphere. Them. Whatever killed these beings. Whatever they were trying to keep locked away on the moon. Hayes didn't hesitate. Bag it. We're taking everything. Are you insane? Frank shouted. We don't know what this is. If it's a beacon, if it's calling something, that's an order, Miller. This is why we're here. Green moved toward one of the bodies with a containment bag, hands trembling. We don't have much time. The beacon's frequency is increasing. If we take it, if we move it, bag it now, Hayes commanded. Frank stood his ground. Colonel, look at these bodies. Something killed them while they were protecting this thing. We should leave it sealed. We should run. You follow orders, not debate them. Green reached down. Her fingers touched one of the alien corpses. Its eyes snapped open. Not dead, dormant. The creature's mouth opened impossibly wide, and a sound came out. Not a scream, but something else. A word, in a language that hurt to hear. A warning. The ground shook violently. A low rumble vibrated through the structure. But it wasn't the structure. It was coming from deeper, from beneath the moon itself. Like something massive had just woken up. All around the chamber, the other bodies started moving, twitching, eyes opening. Dozens of them, all staring at the astronauts. What the hell was that? Frank's panic was rising. Get them bagged, and let's move. Hayes shouted. Green grabbed the sphere with shaking hands and sealed it in the containment bag. The moment she did, every alien body in the chamber collapsed back to dust. Just disintegrated, like they'd been waiting to deliver their warning, and now their purpose was done. We've got it, Green confirmed. But her voice was hollow. We shouldn't have it. We just doomed ourselves. Then everything went dark. Lights flickered. For one terrifying moment, only breathing. Quick, shallow. Then a voice. Not theirs. Not the dying aliens. Something else. Something that had been listening. Cold. Mechanical. But also organic. Echoing from somewhere deep in the moon, or maybe from somewhere far beyond it. You have taken what was sealed. You have opened what was closed. They are coming. Static exploded through the comms. Frank swore. Hayes was shouting. Miller, report. Green, what's happening? The shadows started moving. Not shadows from their lights. Real shadows. Living darkness that flowed like liquid. Closing in. It's moving. Frank screamed. The shadows are alive. The beacon in Green's hands started pulsing. Bright, then dark. Bright, dark. Sending a signal out into space. It's calling them. Green shrieked. The beacon is calling them here. Systems failed. Telemetry screens flashing red. Oxygen dropping. Power surging. Communications breaking. We need to leave now. Green's voice was pure panic, but it was too late. Shadows were on them, shapes that moved in impossible ways. Get to the module. Hayes barked. They're right behind us. Frank was running. Shadow tendrils stretched across the surface, crawling up the module's legs. The voice came again, colder. You are not welcome. Engines roared, sputtering, dying. We're losing power. Green shrieked. We're not going to make it. Shadows thickened, swallowed the light. The structure pulsed with alien energy. Frank's last words cut through everything. Terror and defiance mixed. Get us out of here, John. They're coming. The feed died. Monitors blinked off. Screens went black. I sat alone in silence with one thought echoing. You should not have come. They brought them back in darkness. No cameras. No celebración. No witnesses. The survivors looked like ghosts. Frank was hunched, eyes darting everywhere, skin waxy like he'd aged 10 years in days. Green was worse, hollow-eyed, moving like a robot stuck in a nightmare loop. They separated them immediately. Men in black suits, no insignia, hard faces, took Green to a van with no plates. She vanished. Forever. Frank went into a windowless cell. For debriefing, they said. I snuck in to see him. He looked destroyed. Bloodshot eyes. Trembling hands. They're watching, John. Always watching. What happened up there? He shook his head. Pupils dilated. Trapped animal. We weren't alone. There's something out there they don't want anyone to know about. He leaned close. Whispered. They knew, John. They knew it was waiting. Now they're burying everything. And us with it. The door burst open. 2 men grabbed Frank. That's enough, Miller. He fought them, shouting, John, find Green. Find out what she knew. Gone. I was left with pounding heart and racing mind. Next day, they gave me a file. Top secret stamped in red. Photos inside. The alien figure. And at the bottom, Green's handwriting. They knew. It's not over. Then the threat started. Midnight phone calls. Just breathing. Being watched. Always. A note under my door. Stay silent. Or else. But I couldn't stop. I dug. Quietly. Carefully. Disappearances. Strange sightings. Things moving in darkness where nothing should move. Then Paul Harper appeared at my door. Nervous. 2 clean clothes. Called himself a journalist. You don't know the half of it, he said. This goes way deeper. The mission was just the beginning. He showed me documents. Photos of UFOs. Maps with inexplicable red circles. Sightings. Disappearances. Astronauts. Pilots. Civilians. All connected. Same patterns. Same signals. Same cover-ups. My spine went cold. How do you know this? Because I've been tracking them. The people they silenced. The stories they erased. There are others, John. Others who didn't come back. Others who saw things. He handed me a tape recorder. A pilot saw something on the moon before Apollo 18. He disappeared a week after making this. I pressed play. Static. Then a terrified voice. There's something up here. Not human. Watching us. We never should have come. The tape died. Why show me this? Because they're watching you now. They'll do whatever it takes to keep you quiet. Be careful. He left. From then on, nothing was safe. Shadows too dark. Sounds too loud. Phone calls with only silence. Mail opened and resealed. Dark cars outside with tinted windows. Flashes in the night sky. Shadows moving where they shouldn't. My heart raced constantly. Old contacts stopped answering. I was being isolated. Then my brakes failed. I barely avoided slamming into a tree. Crawled out. Head throbbing. I knew. They were closing in. I could feel it everywhere. They had secrets to keep, and they'd bury anyone who got too close. I was next, but I had to keep digging, because whatever they were hiding was bigger than anything I'd imagined. I knew going public was suicide, but the truth was eating me alive. People deserve to know why we never went back. I set up a live stream, proxy servers to buy time. The camera turned on. An old man with tired eyes stared into the lens. You've been lied to, I said. For 50 years, they've told you we stopped going to the moon because we lost interest. That's not true. I took a breath, knowing they were watching. We found something during Apollo 11. An ancient civilization, dormant, buried beneath the surface. And Apollo 18 woke it up. They brought back a beacon, a signal, and it's been calling ever since. The view count climbed. Thousands watching. They retrieved alien bodies, a sphere that pulses with energy. And NASA has been hiding it in a facility beneath. The lights went out. Not flickered. Went out. Complete darkness. Then my radio, the one from last night, crackled to life on its own. Frank's voice, clear as day. John, they're not coming for you. They're already there. My blood froze. What? Look at the moon, John. Look at it right now. I stumbled to the window, looked up at the night sky. The moon. It was wrong. There was something on the surface. A dark spot, growing, spreading like ink across pale paper. Not a shadow. A ship, massive, emerging from the dark side, coming into view for the first time in human history. My hand shook as I grabbed my phone. Checked social media. People all over the world were posting. What is that on the moon? Is anyone else seeing this? The moon is changing. Frank's voice came through again. Different now. Multiple voices speaking in unison. You took what was sealed. The beacon has been answered. They are here. My live stream suddenly came back on, but I wasn't controlling it. The camera turned, on its own, pointed at my window, at the moon, and then the screen showed something else. Something the satellite feeds were picking up. Ships. Dozens of them. Hundreds. Emerging from the dark side of the moon where they'd been waiting. Dormant. For millennia. The beacon had called them home, and we'd brought it to Earth. My screen filled with emergency broadcasts. News alerts. Military channels going active. This is not a drill. Unidentified objects entering Earth's atmosphere. I looked back at the moon. The dark spot was gone, because they were no longer there. They were coming here. My radio crackled one last time. Frank's voice, but sad now, resigned. I am sorry, John. I tried to warn you. We all did, but you brought me back. You brought the beacon back. And now, static, then nothing. I stood there in the darkness of my cabin, watching through my window as the night sky began to fill with lights. Not stars, ships, descending. The truth was out, but it didn't matter anymore. They were already here, and there was nowhere left to hide.